Hi, this is Fritz Onion from Pluralsight, and I'm going to be presenting this module on server data in ASP.NET Ajax. So at this point, we assumed you've worked through the first couple of modules in this Ajax Fundamentals course and have a good idea of the Ajax framework, ASP.NET Ajax framework, as well as the server-side controls, which we looked at in the last module. This module we're going to be looking at ways to communicate directly with the server using explicit programming of the client. So up until now, we've been focusing primarily on server-side controls in the ASP.NET Ajax framework, which have an implicit communication mechanism that happens automatically for you. And this module, we're going to shift our focus and look more towards the explicit programming model. So how could you write a little client-side script and interact with the DOM and call back into the server to retrieve data. So here are the topics we're going to explore. The primary mechanism for authoring server-side web services that you can call from client-side script is WCF at this point. So as of ASP.NET 3.5, the Visual Studio 2008 release, the preferred model for server communication from client-side pages is WCF endpoints. So we're going to start there, and that will really be the primary focus of this talk. So we'll talk about how to build these services. There are a few other topics sort of not directly related to WCF that we'll look at as well, including static page methods, which is kind of a quick and dirty way to get communication up and running from the client back to the server. But we'll explore the WCF endpoints in some detail, including the proxy generation, the serialization into JSON, and some error handling. We will also look briefly at ASMX web services. Now, ASMX web services are still supported as a mechanism for calling to the server, but it's not the preferred model going forward as of 3.5. So this will kind of be an afterthought in our talk, but I do want to make sure everyone's familiar with both the syntax and the technical features associated with the ASMX endpoints and how those work in case you end up using them for one reason or another. And we're also going to take a look at a couple of built-in server-side services that you can call from your client script if you want to, without doing any extra setup on the server, really. And that includes the profile service, which is a pre-built web service that lets you access the profile data store on the server in ASP.NET. And there's also a pre-built application service for membership. So if you want to do some client-side authentication in your script, you can do so by calling into this membership service. And we'll finish up by just discussing briefly the concept of cross-domain proxies. This comes up often when people start looking at the web service model and say, well, geez, could I just call some other web service at a different domain from my client, from my original domain, from the client-side code? And the short answer is not really. The longer answer is yes, there are ways of doing it, and we're going to just talk about a couple of those and try to give you some guidance and best practices there.